Texas. Genevieve Wood, how are we?
Good morning, sir.
Well, it was funny watching
the debate over a stadium in St. Louis. I haven't heard of this.
Oh yeah, this would be something you'd be easily knock out of the park. But it was people wanted. We have a dome here that we're currently paying on already, and the Rams have left, and yet they want to build another stadium for a team that doesn't yet exist, a soccer team, and voters just rejected the money for that. So,
oh, good for the voters. Smart.
Yeah, it wasn't a good time to bring this up. And we've always said, and I know you guys at the Heritage Foundation say as well, whether it be in terms of alternative energy sources or anything else, if it's a great idea, you can pay for it yourself.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. But it's amazing the ideas that will come out of government, whether it's city government, state government, federal government, when they're using somebody else's money. It's amazing what they can come up with to spend it on.
So much to talk about yesterday. I mean, even though the Susan Rice story, and we'll get to that in a second, President Trump really was certainly in his comfort zone yesterday when he met with a bunch of business leaders and declared this.
The era of economic surrender has come to an end.
I mean, it's such a far cry from the era of the you didn't build that, someone else built that.
You didn't build that
era.
Somebody else made that happen.
So it was really a great morning for the country and for President Trump.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and he did seem to be in his comfort zone, sweet spot, whatever you want to call it. But it's a sweet spot for the American people because one of the big pledges that he talked about on the campaign was bringing back jobs, creating jobs, and he didn't talk about the government creating jobs. He talked about the government getting out of the way of private businesses and private industry creating jobs. And so much of what his administration, frankly, has done thus far, and they've been able to do it without too much help from Congress, because a lot of this was stuff at the agencies was just rolling back regulations, whether it was going after the quote-unquote Clean Power Plan and a lot of stuff happening to EPA, but other places as well, and making it easier. And he talked about going after Dodd-Frank, freeing up banks to be able to actually loan money again. So I thought it was a good event, and all the people in attendance seem to be pretty excited about it. And those people in those rooms were the ones that are the job creators.
No doubt about it. I mean, only President Trump could make a chart interesting because he brought out a chart that showed what it's like to just to try to build a highway or anything in here, the permitting process. And, of course, I talk to a lot of small business people who support the show and who are friends of mine. And, I mean, whether it be just digging a ditch or putting in one extra layer of a warehouse or building a highway, the permitting process is suffocating. It's unbelievable in terms of the EPA and everything else.
No, it is. And look, Jamie, I mean, even myself, a few years ago, I had like a consulting business. And to get a license in the District of Columbia, to just have a consulting business, so to go get a tax ID number, I mean, the kind of paperwork and buildings I had to go to sign up for this, sign up for that, I mean, it just made you not want to do it, And again, I was hiring people to do stuff via this consulting business, but I almost didn't do it just because it was such a challenge to get over that hurdle. I can't imagine what it would be like to try to, get a state or the federal government or whatever to give me the permit, as you said, to take on a road or a bridge or anything else. So it's huge going through that. And plus, it shows people just how big and out of control the government is when he brings up charts like that. It just visualizes it for people. I thought it was a good day for him.
Also yesterday, it came to my realization, now I know why the Democrats are doing this suicidal filibuster approach, because they want anything to take attention away, not only from President Trump and his strides that are being taken regarding the economy, but, of course, the developing story yesterday regarding Susan Rice.
That the media is not covering, except for you,
yeah, right,
and maybe Fox.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody else is just boycotting. Yeah,
yeah.
No, it's. Well, look, I mean, if you want to start this investigation, okay, fine, but you got to go where the investigation leads. And what's becoming clearer and clearer is that maybe the players here that they didn't expect to find or that they were planning to go after were people in the Obama administration and part being Susan Rice. And I always remind people, say, well, I mean, how can you, she was just on TV a couple of weeks ago saying she didn't know anything about any of this. I'm like, this is the same woman who said she didn't know anything, that a video caused the Benghazi blow up, okay? So, and when she frankly knew that wasn't true. So this is the first time that Susan Rice has gone on national television and acted as though she had no idea what anybody was talking about, when indeed she was at the heart of the story. So, I mean, we don't know all the facts yet, but it doesn't seem to be leading in a very good direction for her or the Obama administration, for that matter.
Well, that's for sure. And, of course, in any situation I mentioned earlier, because if you talk to anybody in law enforcement, one of the sure signs that somebody's up to no good is when they start denying accusations that haven't been made. And so
that's always a good sign.
Yes, and so yesterday Susan Rice was we had plenty of that in denying that she leaked anything, which of course that accusation has not been made. That wasn't the point. It was about unmasking, and then denying it was done for political reasons. But the reality is, we want to know why the unmasking took place. I interviewed Judge Napolitano on Tuesday, yesterday, and he said that if it's unmasking for the purposes of some foreign intelligence investigation, that's one thing. If it's done as a means to hurt political opponents, that's espionage.
Well, I think that's true. The question is, how do you prove one way or the other? And that I don't know. I mean, maybe somebody does, but how do you prove it was for one or versus the other? But there's just a lot of questions about why did these people need to be unmasked. I mean, if you were going after the foreign sources and the foreign agents, you had them. You didn't have to you didn't have to unmask. Certainly, once you discovered what some of the conversations were about, you didn't have to unmask the names of the U.S. officials involved. And it's just very interesting that they all basically happen to be part of the Trump administration.
Right, exactly.
Before they were actually the administration.
Yeah, I gotcha. Hey, Genevieve Wood, always good to talk to you. At Genevieve Wood, and she's, of course, there at Heritage, but also dailysignal.com. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, sir. You too.